In this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about VPS hosting and the best VPS for your website, and what you should know and what you should look out for while choosing a VPS provider, and how different hardware will change your performance on your website. So let's get into it. So I'm going to show you 3 VPS servers, and you can choose what is best for you according to your needs. First, I'm going to start off with A2 Hosting, which is the cheapest VPS available. Then I'm going to go for Scala Hosting, which is a overall good choice if you're a beginner. And then I'm going to recommend Cloudways for someone that needs the best of all the worlds. So, as you guys know, not all VPS are created equal. Most companies are running on hardware that is from 2013 to 2014, including these 3. All of these are also running on that same kind of hardware. Most of these are running on Intel Xeon series, and Intel Xeon series does have a lot of differences, but it is kind of similar. You also need to keep in mind that disk storage and RAM speed will really impact your website's performance, and I've checked on A2 Hosting. A decent WordPress website will load within like a second, and that's pretty impressive considering A2 Hosting is our cheapest option. So let's take a deep dive into all 3. So let's take a look at A2 Hosting. Well, this is the front page on A2 Hosting, and let's take a look at their pricing. A2 Hosting starts for as low as $3 USD monthly. So that is around 2.5 euros or something along those lines. And A2 Hosting provides you with 100 gigabytes of SSD storage, and it does not provide you with any of the turbo servers on the basic 2 plans. And it runs on Intel Xeon E5-2620. This information isn't available on their website, but I did email to ask them this, and they replied with this. The clock speed you'll get on A2 Hosting for your website is around 2.4 gigahertz, which is pretty decent, and you are able to choose your own data centers on A2 Hosting. Because A2 Hosting is like an international brand, you can host your website in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, depending on where you live. So this is really international. It isn't just limited to America or just the States or whatever. So that is a good point about A2 Hosting. And A2 Hosting has their configuration panel. It looks like this, and it's pretty simple and easy to use. However, if you're someone that needs a bit more in your VPS, then I would not recommend A2 Hosting. I would only recommend A2 Hosting if you're going for the cheapest plan possible, which is still decently good and provides with a wide range of features. It also provides you with 700 MBs of RAM, which is pretty good for the price, and also gives you a little bit of security. It's not really that decent, although it does say it does provide security. It doesn't have that kind of security as Scala Hosting does provide. They also do have 24/7 crew support, and it's kind of unresponsive, I will be honest with you guys. The crew support on A2 Hosting is not very quick and not very efficient. However, they also have free site migration, so that's very helpful and very easy to shift your work or website or whatever you're doing onto A2 Hosting. Next up, we have Scala Hosting. So this is Scala Hosting, and Scala Hosting is the VPS I would recommend for you if you are a beginner and you're just starting out, but you do need a decent amount of features. So what is up with Scala Hosting? Scala Hosting costs around $10 a month. It's $9.95, but it's $10. And they provide you with 1 CPU core. So it's very, very important to see how many cores you are provided. And on the $10 plan, it's 1 CPU core. On the $26 plan, it's 2. On the $62 plan, it's 4. And on the $134 plan, it's 8 CPU cores. And you might be wondering, CPU core from the 3rd generation is different from something that's from the 5th generation or the 6th generation. So Scala Hosting runs on Intel Xeon E5-26202, and it provides you with a clock speed of 2.10 gigahertz. So that's something to keep in mind. On the $10 program, you will also get 2 gigabytes of RAM and 50 gigabytes of SSD. You will also have unmetered bandwidth, so that's pretty good. The good part about Scala hosting is that it is a managed VPS, so you will have a very nice interface and panel given to you by Scala hosting. This is their S panel. Scala hosting has their own kind of panel that they provide you with as soon as you start off. This is that panel. Also, a good part about Scala hosting is that they are integrated with WordPress, so you don't have to install it and add integrations and whatnot. WordPress is just installed and integrated within their hosting program. That's very easy to use. And Scala hosting is a lot more secure. The A2 VPS is not managed, it is unmanaged, so you will have to be kind of familiar with code while using A2 hosting. A great part about Scala hosting also is that they have daily backups. So if we look into the details of this plan, we will find somewhere here they have mentioned this. So Scala hosting has 24-hour customer support. That's actually kind of useful, and they do actually reply on time. Also, they have daily backups, as you can see here, which is very, very great considering it's only $10. It's very great, and as a overall deal, Scala hosting is probably the best in terms of value for money, and in terms of the overall services provided by Scala hosting as a VPS is pretty good. And you can also have a custom setup with them, so you can choose how much disk space you want, what kind of RAM you want, how many cores you want, whatever kind of network speed you want to use. If you want the C panel or the S panel, you can customize that, and that will change your overall billing. So you can have a VPS service provided to you in accordance to your needs. Next up, we have Cloudways. So before I get into Cloudways and why I recommend it as the overall best VPS in the market, I'm going to show you guys the VPS that you should stay clear from. So if you're looking for a VPS and you search on Google, you search on these popular sites, these names might pop up, but they are most certainly not worth the money, and they are using pretty outdated hardware. So the hardware is very important, and these companies are using pretty outdated hardware to host your website, and it's not really great if you go for them, even though they might seem like really large names. First off is Bluehost. Steer clear of Bluehost, Hostinger, SiteGround, and HostGator. All four of these might show up as some of the most popular web hosting sites, but they're not worth it. I've checked in with them, I have checked it out, I have asked for their details, what kind of hardware they're running, and all four of them are pretty outdated, and that's why I would recommend the previous three and stay away from all of these. So, coming back to Cloudways. Cloudways is basically gonna serve as your intermediary between you and your actual VPS. And we know the very big names in VPS world. It is Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, Amazon Web Services. These are very big names, and Cloudways will help you manage your cloud hosting. So as you can see, they manage cloud hosting. So they're just a intermediary, but they are a very efficient intermediary, and you won't have to deal with the hassle of Microsoft, Google, or Amazon. You are just gonna deal with Cloudways, and they're gonna set up everything on those platforms and just provide you with their interface between you and your actual cloud hosters that provide you with a lot of security too. That's a very big thing. So if you're hosting on Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, Amazon Web Services, you're going to have a lot of security, and Cloudways is just going to give you a better platform. So as you can see, Cloudways has 24/7 customer support, and the greatest part about Cloudways is that you pay as you go. So you will only be paying for the resources that you consume, and the billing is not monthly, it is actually hourly. So after your flat rate, you won't be paying any extra fees. You're just going to be paying for how many hours you used a specific service. There's also free migration and no lock-in, so you can freely use any of your services without being obligated to a specific time limit and all of that. They also provide you with unlimited applications and a free SSL certificate. So Cloudways is going to cost you $10 a month. They also have other VPS services that are slightly pricier, like $22, $42, and $80. But I would just recommend going for the $10 or the $22 one, as they are pretty efficient and pretty good with what they do. So the bandwidth is not unlimited on Cloudways. I'm just gonna let you guys know that, because that might be something that's a game changer for you, and you might want to go with Scala hosting because they do provide unlimited bandwidth. However, on Cloudways you will get 24/7 customer support, you get a CDN add-on, you get unlimited application installations, and Cloudways also has a regular security patching. So if security is one of your larger issues, you might want to opt for Cloudways. They also have SSH and SFTP access. They provide HTTP2 enabled servers, and they also have automated backups, so you don't ever have to worry. And their dashboard looks like this, and you can see you can back up your data over here, and this is their overall general dashboard. Over here you can see different applications. And that's it for today. I hope you guys understand what kind of VPS you should opt for, and the overall best, I think, for most people is probably going to be Scala hosting. However, some people might opt for Cloudways or A2 hosting, which are just equally as great. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.